What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we are checking out the ENGWE X electric bicycle. So this is a foldable bicycle that has a front and rear suspension. This is powered by a 750 watt motor that's in the rear wheel here. We get a range of up to 100 kilometers on one charge, and we also have what's called fat tires. So these are 20-inch wheels with 4-inch wide tires, and that's why the bike looks kind of unique, I'm gonna say. Alright, let's start a bit of an unboxing just so I can show you how the bike comes packed in the box and what you have to do to get this ready and on the road. Alright, so we get a pretty big and of course heavy box. The bicycle itself actually weighs about 31 kilos, so this is definitely not that easy to carry around. Of course you can fold it as I mentioned earlier, so it folds in the middle here, and then the handlebar also folds here. Talking about the handlebar, you do have to put the handlebar together when you take this bike out of the box. It takes about 20 minutes to get this ready and on the road. You also have to put together the front mud guard here, but overall everything is pretty easy to do. Alright, taking a look at the bike itself. Well, first of all, this bike looks very unique. Wherever you go, people just look at you because the bike does look quite unusual. So this bike has mechanical disc brakes on the back and on the front. Now the ENGWE Engine Pro that looks somewhat similar to this bike has hydraulic brakes, and yes, I do like the brakes on the Engine Pro a bit more, but the brakes on this one still work really good. So just to give you an example, you are going downhill, going pretty fast, you pull on these levers and the bike will stop. So the braking power that we get from these mechanical brakes is pretty good. There is a bit of squeaking happening with these brakes. Not bad, but there is a bit of squeaking happening. But that is the only noise that the bike makes, even if you go over uneven terrain. Talking about uneven terrain, so we have a suspension on the back, well, kind of on the back here, and a suspension on the front. And of course, the suspension on the back and on the front will also help a lot when you go over uneven terrain. But what happens, because we have the fat tires will actually take most of those bumps in. So even without the suspension, the ride is still pretty comfortable on uneven terrain. But with the suspension, it's even a bit more comfortable than other bikes that only have one suspension. So overall, a pretty comfortable bike. Talking about comfort, the seat here is also a bit bigger than most other bikes out there. So even if you ride for like an hour, 2 hours, the seat is still pretty comfortable. So overall, a pretty comfortable bike, I'm gonna say. Moving on to the kickstand, well, the kickstand is made out of a combination of plastic and metal. It does work really well. So whenever you have the bike on the kickstand, even if it's windy or something like that, it's not gonna fall. The Shimano shifter is located on the right hand side here. This is an entry-level shifter, however, shifting gears up and down does work flawlessly, so I haven't had any issues whenever shifting up or down. So that works good as well. On the back here we have a bike rack, so if you need to keep a bag there, that could come in handy. On the back here we also have a light. Now, this is not the brightest light for during the day. At night you can definitely see that light really well, and that light also acts as a brake light. We also have mud guards on the front and of course on the back. The mud guards are made out of metal, and luckily they don't make any noise whenever you are going over bumps or uneven terrain. That was a worry of mine. Now the pedals here are also foldable. They are made out of plastic. Just to give you an example, the Engine Pro does have foldable pedals that are made out of metal. So these ones are made out of plastic. You also have to install those when you take the bike out of the box. The battery pack is located in the frame here. We have a charging port on this side here, but you can also remove the battery pack from the frame if you want to charge it at home. For example, charging this from 0 to 100 is done in about 6 to 7 hours. So you basically have to charge this overnight. Now, on one charge, the manufacturer says that you can get up to 100 kilometers of range. And maybe that is true depending on the conditions where you are riding, how heavy you are, if you are going uphill, if you are using assistance level 1, and so on. Personally, I can get about 50 to 60 kilometers of range if I do pedal a lot, but if I don't pedal much and I mostly use the electric motor, I can get about 30 kilometers of range. So it really depends how you plan on using this. Yes, you can get more than I get if you do pedal a bit more, if you use lower assistance levels and so on. Talking about power, so the 750 watt motor that we have in the rear wheel here has plenty of power for pretty much any situations. Since we also have gears, you can downshift a bit, so if you have a steep hill, you pedal as well, and you also have the motor assisting you. So going on pretty much any hill, it's super easy. So a lot of power for pretty much any situation. Now, when you first take the bike out of the box, depending where you're located, this may be locked to 25 kilometers an hour, which is the legal speed limit in certain places around the world. You can easily unlock this, so you can have it going way past that 25 kilometers an hour. And the throttle here is disabled when you first take it out of the box. Again, it is very easy to unlock this, and if you do unlock it, you basically don't have to pedal. You can just accelerate from the throttle. But always check the local regulations wherever you're located to see what's legal and what's not. Alright, so we have a quick hill climbing test. I am in gear number 1 and assistance level 3, and I'm gonna go up the hill just so you can see how the bike does on a steep hill like this. I'm gonna start by accelerating here, this way it's easier for me to get going, but then I'll start pedaling right away. So check this out. So as you can see, it is pretty easy to go up a hill that's as steep as this one. So no problems whatsoever. Moving to the front of the bike, here we have the light. This is bright enough so you can actually see it during the day, and of course at night it is bright enough so it can light up the path ahead of you. Now, what I like about this bike, what the L20 doesn't have, for example, the handlebar here is adjustable in height. So you can move this lower or higher, and this way the bike will be more comfortable for, well, more riders, I'm gonna say, riders that are taller, that are shorter, and so on. And I really wish more manufacturers would have adjustable handlebars in height, because this makes a big difference whenever you're riding. Because if you're riding like this, you're not gonna get as tired as if you're riding like this and you're putting pressure on your wrists here. So a very important feature for this bike, I'm gonna say. The handlebar here is nice and wide. Here we have the bell, not the loudest bell out there, but we do have a bell. The brake levers are made out of plastic. The grips here don't move in any way. Here we have a couple of buttons. From these buttons you basically switch modes, like assistance modes. You go into menus on the screen. Talking about the screen, well, this is definitely not the biggest screen out there. However, you can perfectly see it even in complete sunshine. Complete sunshine, is that the thing? Even if it's a super bright day, you're going to be able to see the screen really well. The screen will show you how many kilometers you've done, the speed, the battery that you have, and so on. And on the right hand side here we have the shifter, which I mentioned earlier, so shifting up and down gears works flawlessly. And then we have the throttle, which, as we discussed earlier, could be locked when you first take the bike out of the box. But if you want to ride this like a motorcycle, you basically just accelerate from here and the bike goes without you having to pedal. Alright, so to quickly conclude this video, the ENGWE Engine X offers really good value for its price. This one has a very unique design. Those 4-inch wide tires do make it look like a very off-roady mean bike, I'm gonna say. The very thick frame makes it look unique. So a very unique looking bike that, as I said earlier, will make everyone around you turn their head and look at you, because the bike does look unique. We have plenty of power. The range that you're gonna get on one charge is plenty, in my opinion, and overall a very comfortable bike. So if you're looking for a new bike, definitely consider the ENGWE Engine X. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.